If you got a wife, need not apply. These are the gays of our lives. Yeah, these are the gays of our lives.
Hi, everybody. This is Sarah.
And this is Megan.
And you are listening to It's Always the Husband podcast.
Welcome.
Yes, thank you. We're so glad you're listening.
We sure are.
We are.
This is a true crime podcast where we talk about husbands who kill their wives and make fun of them and make fun of each other. And you're along for the ride. If you like this, share it with your friends.
Yeah, please do. My gosh.
We had some good download numbers last week, I saw. So I'm pumped up about it.
People are sharing. Thank you.
Yeah,
yes.
thanks. And we love some good ratings and reviews as well.
I know. We've had some very good reviews. I've got to put them up. But my laziness.
I know.
Well, when I get home, my brain just turns into just a fecal puddle.
Yeah. Remember that
fecal spoilage.
That Gloria Estefan song, The Words Get in the Way?
Yeah.
It's like
the poop gets in the way.
In the way.
Yeah, it does.
Or just like
my anus gets in the way.
Yeah. Menopause.
Menopause definitely gets in the way because it makes your hair on your head fall out, but then the hair on your beard and chin and pits grow much bigger and longer, like Wolverine or some sort of hairy beast.
Yeah,
the Sasquatch.
Someone in our Facebook group just called my ass out and said like I was a hot burning in hell liar about the
waxing pain?
Yeah, about the waxing pain.
Although I don't think my puss lasering hurts at all, but some people do.
I think
it's
lasering hurts. Oh,
I mean, I can see how it is because it does burn through your skin.
Oh,
and you can smell your burning flesh.
Oh my God.
But
I don't smell anything when I get wax. But my armpits. Okay, I said it didn't hurt, but it did hurt a little bit this time. But still, I mean. Not like I'm not ever going to do it again because I am. I love it.
Yeah.
It's just so silky smooth.
My mustache wax hurts.
I feel like they didn't get my butt hair enough on this wax, though.
Oh, jeez.
Am I the only one in the world that has butt hair? And now
mine's lasered off. That's embarrassing when you have to get a laser in there.
Butt hair?
Hey, yes. Flip over, please. And then there's a laser gun in your butthole.
Nuh-uh.
Oh, you think, what has forsaken me? How did I get to this? But then I gladly pay for it.
But you just turned
it's wonderful.
Over and spread those cheeks and said, get on in there.
They spread them for you.
Oh, horrifying.
I know.
All right, let's talk about shit.
So before we start our murder, we usually go over something that got us through the week. We call it our glitter in the shitter. Did you have something?
I do.
You do? What is it?
Well, I am reading this book called Atomic Habits, which I know I'm like late to the game.
I read that, 3 years ago, I think.
I'm actually reading it with the deodorants.
That's
in
cute,
my
I
class.
think.
Yeah.
That's really cute.
Because we're working on going out into the world.
That's a good idea.
And being...
functioning
responsible citizens. And so some of us have some poor habits that I don't want them to take with them. So anyway, we're reading this book together, and I decided that I needed to make a habit, and I've been very lazy and overweight and hating everything and going through menopause, and I've been trying all these things to be better. And one of the people that I watch is Dr. Mary Claire Haver on TikToks or something, and she has a line of she's specifically a menopause OBGYN, and she has this line of supplements. She also has a book called The Galveston Diet that she came up with for...
Do you just wait for a hurricane to come and then it takes away your food into the ocean? Okay.
Yeah, and then you don't eat it and you're fine. I actually haven't read that book because I don't care about that. But she also has a book called The New Menopause, and she has really done a lot of research on like what women need in menopause, and some of the things that she talks about all the time are what the supplements that she does, and talks about lifting heavy weights and whatever. So the supplements that she says menopausal women need are creatine, which I always think of as like lifting weights.
Yeah, I always
like
think of
men.
big muscle dummies.
Right, but she says women actually really need it, and it.
Who knew? Oh, jeez.
A cat's in here.
Oh, okay, keep
cat's
going.
out of the bag. Okay, so
he
she
opens
says
the door.
I know. Yeah, he does. She says you need creatine because it helps with brain fog and it gives you energy, and so and it's just really good for our bodies, and it helps fend off osteoporosis. And then
that's
the
weird
other,
that it does
yes,
all those things.
Obviously,
But
she
that's
says
good.
we need to
Jeez,
start.
I needed that like 20 years ago. God.
We need to start our day with protein.
Right in the IV, right
Yeah.
into my butthole. I guess hair free.
Some people really die by what is that when you don't eat right away?
Yeah, fasting.
Fasting, yeah. Some people love that. She is not all about it. She says women need protein right away in the morning. And that as women, if we don't eat, our bodies just store fat. And so sometimes intermittent fasting can cause us to gain weight because our body holds on to it. Obviously, everybody's different. But she's
I did do intermittent fasting for a year, and it was very, very strict. And I had very small eating windows of like 4 hours or 2 hours. Yeah. Didn't lose even an ounce.
So it doesn't work for you.
No.
So anyway, and then fiber is the other one, which
fiber.
I realized that this is just in the last 3 weeks, I have then had a habit of making a smoothie every morning. So my husband has been a smoothie guru forever, and it annoys the shit out of me because every morning that's the first thing I hear is this fucking smoothie blender. Yeah. But I was like, all right, well, if he's already making one, he'll make one for me. So I bought a fiber supplement from Mary Claire Haver.
You didn't just go with the old Metamucil orange?
I did not.
Okay.
And I bought creatine from her, from the Pause. And then I've also been putting protein, collagen, chia seeds, and flax seeds. And so it's just like a shit ton of supplements, and then whatever fruit, strawberry and blueberry and whatever. It has made a world of difference.
Wonderful.
In my life. I'm sure I haven't lost weight, but I just feel better. I feel more energized. I actually feel hungry, which is weird because I feel like I just never felt hungry and I was just eating all the time, and like I'll have my smoothie in the morning and then I feel hungry and I eat lunch and then I feel hungry again and then I eat dinner. Yeah. Gives me a lot of energy, and I just feel like it's a positive habit. So I did all the things that my book told me to do. I made it obvious. Like I bought these cute containers and put all my supplements in it so they're on my counter, and we have our little smoothie bar, and we just
that's cute.
Protein, creatine, fiber, collagen, chia, and flax, and we go.
That's a very good. Do you use frozen fruit or fresh fruit?
Frozen
fruit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What a
Costco.
good idea.
Yeah, I love it. It's helping me so far, and
I feel like I should go. I don't go to Costco because I don't like the big carts. And so Jamie goes. It gives me anxiety to be there. Everything big and people rushing, I can't do it. But then he buys stuff for him.
Yeah.
I see all the time. I would enjoy this and this and this. And then he comes home. I didn't find it. You didn't try.
Yeah. It is hard. We went on, I don't know.
It's very hard. It's always crowded and hectic. And I just feel like I'm going to have an attack.
You would.
Yeah.
You would.
The big cart. I can't handle
I was there.
The people pushing the big carts.
And I had
it's like
flowers
weird,
hanging off the side of my big cart. You would have killed me.
I can't. It's just I don't know. It's a mental illness I have of Costco Big Good.
Yeah. Well, you don't like carts, just in general.
No, because I just don't like people walking right behind me, and then when everything is big, it's like I don't know.
Yeah,
that's good.
It's true.
That sounds wonderful.
Costco might be a lot of things for just you and Jamie, though. In general, there's only two of you.
There's only two of us. Yeah, but he, freezes steak and salmon and eats all that, and that's all he eats.
Yeah,
and I just but I would like. I eat fruit by the train full.
It's definitely worth it. They have like organic strawberries and organic mango, and we put that in ours.
Mine was the sun. We are a people that don't see the sun.
Oh, you're talking about really
the S-U-N, the star. Yes, because we don't see the sun for 9 months out of the year, and it's been shining for like a week straight. So I think this is the one good week out of the year.
Yeah,
and I'm going to take it. It makes a difference when you see the sun. Like 100%. We've seen the sun for like a week straight. This is the most we've seen the sun in 9 months.
We are a people who live in a gray
we are a
world
gray people.
In Minnesota.
We're an underground gray dark people. And so seeing the sun for a week, that's been very odd. But I have appreciated it. It makes a difference when you're outside and it's warm and sunny. We haven't had that.
Yeah,
and
we
it's
had
starting.
Dance mom party on our deck on Saturday night outside.
Yeah, that's totally unusual.
Holy shit. And their mosquitoes weren't bad yet.
No, and it's not humid yet. So this is the perfect time. Yeah.
Of
time. And it will end quickly, but this is perfect.
Yes, for people in Minnesota.
So I'm going to enjoy it. Yeah, we have a very short window.
You know what? Let's cheers to the sun. Oh, the sun is a hot star.
Yes, it is hot. That's what I've heard.
Mercury's hot too.
I'm sure it is.
Venus is the next planet.
It is.
Earth's home to me and you. Do you know this song?
No.
Mars is the red one. What comes next?
After Mars?
Mars.
Then you have big old...
Made John. Jupiter.
You have an asteroid belt.
Jupiter.
And then Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. And then, unfortunately, Pluto that got demoted.
Saturn's got those icy rings. Uranus spins on its side.
And it has rings too.
Then what? Neptune?
Neptune.
I don't know what the rest of the song is. Shoot.
I don't either.
It was on
Neptune.
It was on Blue's Clues that Rory had when he was, or maybe
Blues Clues.
Sadie. It was Sadie.
Oh, probably was Sadie.
And Toni Braxton sang it. Oh, the sun is a hot star. Yeah. Here's to the sun.
Yeah. Thank you, sun, for showing up
on that ridiculously stupid bird walk through the planets.
And we do have a social media, Instagram.
We do.
Always the Hubs, and Facebook. It's Always the Husband podcast, and we have a group.
Yeah.
And we have like a lot of people in the group, and there are some funny fuckers in there. And so we like to pick funny fuckers because they post a lot of funny things. A lot. And it's really hard to pick because some are good and they make my day, and they're gross, and I like the gross ones. But one that did make me laugh, Albany Pickering.
That's a person in our group?
Yeah. She posted the video of the gal. No. She posted the video of the gal that did the butthole like cookie. They look like butthole cookies, but she did art stuff around them. And then she also makes jewelry out of certain substances that are real gross. You probably don't want to look it up, but you maybe do.
Hairs,
no, it was other stuff.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
So
it's real gross. If you want to go through a gross rabbit hole, go to what she put about what this lady makes. I already
don't like that.
Incels.
No.
But then Leanne Klinger put the video of the woman who made the homemade Sheen skirt, like the denim skirt that's just in strips. So it has like a strip of denim and then just a skin. Like 2 inches of skin, and then 2 inches of denim, and then 2 inches of skin, and then 2 inches of denim, and 2 inches of skin, and it says this is a casual skirt. So it's like just
What?
It's like you took a jean skirt, but just cut out 2 inches of strips of skin every 2 inches. So she sewed her own and just showed like wearing this casual skirt. It was so funny because of course her underwear, big, huge underwear was showing through it. You can't walk. I mean, it was so funny. Just how awful it would look actually wearing these things. So I laughed at that one. It was pretty good.
That is good. I must have missed that one. I am going to choose Chelsea. Chelsea, you need to tell us if your name is Timon or Timon, because I feel
I'm sure
I've said this a lot of times, but that I pick yours because they always make me laugh. But this one was just a road sign that said, "Dip ahead. Caution, dip ahead." And it was like, I wonder what it is, if it's the artichoke dip or whatever. Because the sun is out.
Yeah.
It's dip time in Minnesota as well. And my friend Melissa made this fucking dip that is nuts. And you're supposed to eat it with the chili cheese Fritos.
Ew.
Okay, but it's just corn and green pepper and maybe sour cream or mayonnaise and onion. I don't know, but it was so fucking good. And at this party, I ate the whole thing. So that meme made me laugh because it was like dip ahead. And I was like, fuck yeah. I hope there's dip ahead. I will stop.
You will stop for dip.
She also made the pickle ham.
Oh,
that's
cheese
good.
Dip. That's one of my favorites.
Love those.
Yeah.
I love a Rotel dip with Velveeta. I mean, literally, give me the dip.
Yeah.
Doesn't our friend Amy too makes one with artichoke and Kalamata?
That one's good.
It's like a Greek dip. Oh,
that's a good one.
Anyway, it was delicious. So thanks, Chelsea, for the dip ahead.
I thought it would be like dip ahead and then you put a picture of like your brother.
A dipshit.
Or your husband.
No, it's actual dip. I'm looking for it. Yeah.
Well, we watched Dateline, an older one, season 21, episode 25. Mm-hmm. It's called Secrets in the Mist. Not Gorillas in the Mist with Sigourney.
I loved that movie.
It was sad. It was too. I can't watch animal movies at all.
Why did I love it so much when I was little?
I don't know. I can't do it. I can't watch any Animal Planet. Jamie will watch those, and I have massive meltdowns when he has it on. I'm like, I cannot. Why do you have this on? He's like, you like animals? You science deodorant.
I know, and Phil always goes, "It's a circle of life," and I'm like, I don't want to see that fucking part of it.
No, I have actually severe meltdowns.
Rory, that surprises me.
Yeah.
Rory was just watching a pangolin one.
Oh,
that's on Netflix or something, and they lost the pangolin overnight, and I was like, God damn it! If this pangolin dies, I'm gonna be. It didn't.
No.
By the way, spoiler
I can't do it.
No, I know, but I feel the same way.
So anyway, the murder took place in 1981. We'll learn. So I present to you the top books of 1981.
What could they be? How old were you in 81?
I was getting out of kindergarten, going into first grade. 5 to 6. 6 to 7.
So I was 5. Okay.
I was 7 to 8. Wait, I was born in 1974. So I was 7 to 8. Mm-hmm. 7.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to add numbers to another number. God.
No, me neither.
So Thomas Harris wrote Red Dragon, which you don't know about, but it was like Silence of the Lambs, and it's like a sequel.
I know about it. Because wasn't there a movie called that, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't watch it, of
good.
course. But
Ramona Quimby, H8. Yes.
Oh, shit. I love that.
Judy Blume, Tiger Eyes. I don't remember that one. Is there some sort of period or sex involved? I don't know that one.
I read it, but I don't remember.
Let me see. I don't know. Tiger
81
Eyes.
was so
Davy
good.
has never felt so alone in her life. Her father is dead.
Davy,
shot in a holdup. And now her mother is moving the family to New Mexico to try to recover Jesus. Davy meets a mystery wolf in a canyon who can read Davy's sad eyes.
Tiger.
Oh, meets the mystery wolf. So it's a person, not a wolf. Wolf is the only person who seems to understand the rage and fear Davy feels. Slowly, with Wolf's help, Davy realizes that she must get on with her life. But when will she be ready to leave the past behind and move forward for the future? Will she ever stop hurting? Oh,
I think she will.
Berenstain Bears go to the doctor. A Light in the Attic by Shel Silverstein.
Yes. I still have that in my drawer.
The Best of Dear Abby. Let's see. Cujo by Stephen King.
No.
Was out.
Did you read that?
I did. It's a little different from the movie. Let's see. Richard Simmons had a diet book.
Oh, like Deal a Meal?
No, it was.
Or
like
this was pre-Deal a Meal?
Before Deal a Meal.
Oh.
Little Miss Sunshine, those Little Miss books. Fast Time at Ridgemont High. I'm sure there was a Twins one.
Sweet Valley High.
I'm sure there was. But those were some of the bigger ones.
Well,
I'm sure there was a Dean
I
Kuntz.
for sure read the Judy Blume and the Beverly Cleary.
Yes, I read all the Ramonas.
Yeah. The Tremont Library.
Yep.
I would go and check
And
them all
Encyclopedia
out.
Brown. I read all of those constantly.
Me too. I loved those.
I know. That's what I checked out all the time.
Oh, thanks for 1981 trivia books.
Those were good.
I liked the look of 81 from the pictures.
I did too. The hair looks and the fashion looks I liked. Like from 77, I feel like, to 82. Well, I feel like they're more mellow and normal.
Yes.
Like it could blend in today a little bit because they had straighter hair.
Yes, those fucking wings went away.
Yeah,
and
they just had straight hair and just like bangs.
And the dads just looked kind of cool, and they had mustaches.
Yeah,
and
the
like
dad's shorts were probably too short because my dad's shorts were very short at the time, I feel. And the mustaches were out of control. Yeah. But other than that, I feel it was a normal time.
But it's kind of a good look.
Yeah, they all looked tan and relaxed.
They're just hanging out
playing. And like they've just had a bunch of booze and they're just chilling.
They had a couple of Bush Lights and
that's what everybody looked like.
Softball diamond and played.
And like men just wear their half shirts and their tiny shorts, just drink their booze and their high socks. And
Moms
women
let the kids play in the dirt and smoke
you don't pay
some
attention to
cigs.
your kids.
No, it looked like I liked this look.
Oh, this is that was the greatest time ever.
Oh, 81.
All right. Well, this Dateline starts January 2013. We're
going backwards in time.
We're in Point Vicente, California. I don't even know what there is, but they're on the ocean in a sheriff boat.
Yes.
Police are like looking for something in the ocean, and they said they're working on a 30-year cold case. And we're like, oh, that's the beginning. And then you go blah, 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 back in time to March 1981.
Yes.
This is where you see the 81 pictures, and they show them in Polaroid view.
Yeah.
I don't think they were real Polaroids, or were they? I don't know. But this is where you see Carol Jean Meyer, who becomes Carol Lubahn. So Carol Lubahn, she had Chrissy Snow hair from Three's Company without the ponytails. So when Chrissy would just kind of have her hair straight, that's what Carol's hair looked like, a blonde, bangs, then longer blonde hair.
Very appropriate bangs.
Yeah. Oh, look very cute.
Yep. She was beautiful.
And they showed her two sisters, and they were all hot foxes in these pictures. And like
just one sister who talked throughout, it was so pretty.
Yeah. They were all just again, like the fashion in their hair were all hot.
Yeah.
And again, they were all hot tan, like Christy Brinkley hot tan, you know, where you could just wear like a tight t-shirt and little shorts and you looked hot. And now I feel like if we do that, we look like a big old Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
I don't know. They were good times for people looked good here. But then, I mean, we'll get to the husband.
Yeah.
But Chrissy Lubahn, she was Chrissy Meyer, and her two sisters. She had sister Terry and a sister Gail.
You called her Chrissy. Like,
oh, I'm sorry. Why am I calling her Chrissy?
Carol.
She's Carol.
But don't
Carol.
not to be confused with Forensic
Gail.
Files Carol.
No, this is actual Carol.
Her actual name was Carol.
Carol had a sister Terry and a sister Gail, and Terry and Gail both talked during this Dateline.
Yeah.
Carol got preggy at 15. Oh, that's a shit show, Carol.
Ow.
That's a shit show. But she marries the football player, Jock, who knocked her up, Mike.
He takes
Lubahn.
responsibility.
And they end up with 2 kids. So they have another kid. So by 20, she's got the 2 kids. And then she realizes at 20, shit, I'm a mom now. And everybody else is out there partying and having their Bush Light and their tall socks. And I ain't got shit here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at home watching Remington Steele, putting my babies to sleep.
And
which
it's
isn't
the
bad.
tiniest house
Yeah, it's a tiny, tiny box house.
ever. Yeah.
In California, they're living. So Terry, the sister, said Carol wanted to complete school. She wanted to further her career. She wanted to be an architect. So she's wanting to go to that. She's probably waiting for maybe the kids to get a little older. I don't know.
Yeah.
But she was wanting to start to do that. So the high school football player that they porked, had the baby, she married, is Mike.
Right.
He has a mustache at this time when he's supposed to be 18, 19, but he looks a good 57, 58. He does not look good. He has the 80s, like big, longer hair. He doesn't have a Magnum PI look with the mustache. It just, I don't know. But he's not a handsome man.
I didn't think he was
No, he just looked
handsome.
older. Like where she looked kind of young, he just looked so much older than her. But he was their age.
Yeah.
We find Carol has a dad named Milt.
Yeah, Milt.
Milt has a house painting business and said to Mike, oh, all right, Mike, why don't you just come and work for me? And people liked Mike. Carol's family did. They said he was friendly, loyal, but not too ambitious.
Yeah.
They lived in Florence, California, in this tiny, tiny cramped house with these 2 little kids. And what Carol decided to do is just pork other guys because she was getting tired of Mike and his mustache. She wanted to get out of the house and she wanted to party, I guess, and have, I guess, a teenage wild life at 20 and pork other guys. She had an awesome red Audi and drove that thing around town, this red car, and she always went to the Red Onion. Did we have Red Onions here?
No. And
What am I thinking is a Red Onion?
She likes to hang out. We had a Wild Onion in St.
Ground
Paul.
round. That's what I'm thinking of. We had a ground round. And you used to be able to throw peanuts on the floor
That
at
doesn't
ground
even
round.
have a vegetable in it.
I don't know. I feel like we had a Red Onion. No, I don't know. Why is Red Onion?
But they said
She would go to the Red Onion.
But what did they say? She would go to the drugstore and to the meat market. It was like 2 totally opposite things. Like one was a total like normal mom thing, and then they said the meat market. So I was like, oh, the meat market.
She'd pick up
Like
some hardy guys.
I thought she was really gonna go get a roast for dinner.
No,
but
she's
then
just
they
getting
showed,
some schwanz.
Yes,
She's
by
getting
meat
some
market
quote meat
they meant
market.
meat market, and I was a dum dum.
The
The red fucking onion.
Red Onion. I guess I didn't know Red Onion was a porkin' restaurant where you get to pick up some schwanz and some poontang.
I don't think it's
Red poontang. I don't know. Is there still Red Onions?
It's not like a chain, a national.
Is it a
chain.
whorehouse?
I think it's just.
Is it a him whorehouse?
Randomly places have weird.
Did she
bars
walk
called
into the Red Onion and you just go to the bar and you just
It's just like
pick
the
up a
one
man
on Three's Company.
Oh, like Regal Beagle?
The Regal Beagle, but it was
Oh.
the Red Onion.
Nice.
What if she did fall down the stairs like Jack Tripper? Going down the stairs with the Regal Beagle. And Larry was always sitting at the bar. Yeah, that was what it was like, I bet.
So we see the son, Mike Jr. So this is Carol and Mike's son. He's the one that was, I guess,
10?
He was 10 at the time that this incident happened, but he was the old 15 bun in the oven, I'm assuming. He's the first.
Yeah.
So Mike Jr. says about this time in 1981, he was super excited because he got a kick-ass stereo system. So he went to bed early or to his room earlier one night, and he had his big-ass 70s headphones on. And he's listening to his, I don't know, his Rat. No, that's probably too early for Rat. But he's listening to Kiss or something in his big headphones. But from
I wonder what he was. Let me
from
look.
his bed, he could see in the hallway something happening. Like his parents were having some sort of an argument, which to him was unusual. They didn't really fight this loud or like that.
He was listening to Journey.
Journey. He sees his mom, Carol, go out the front door and slam the shit out of it. So that was like, oh, geez, so unusual. The next morning, though, Mom, Carol, isn't there around breakfast. And he says, Dad, where's Mom? And he's just like, we had a fight. Mom wanted to sell the house. And I just said no. She walked out. I haven't seen her. And so Mike was like, oh, all right. So she left last night and she hasn't come back. And Dad was like, yeah. And so she took the red Audi Fox, her red car, wasn't at home. But then later on, it shows up at the Red Onion and it was kind of dusty. Like it had been around somewhere. So the police, though, open up a file because she's now missing, but her red Audi is at the Red Onion without her. But there's really no evidence of anything because she's not, there's no body. There's no sign of anything weird. She's an adult. So, I mean, what are you going to do? About a week after Carol goes missing this night, Mike says that he tells the police that after she left, he started putting tape on the dresser drawers.
This is so fucking weird.
Like tape on the dresser, so if she opened it, the tape would break. And he said that over the night, the tape would be broken. Like someone came in and opened the dresser drawers and was taking out big Fruit of the Loom underwears and bras. And then when he took the kids to Universal Studios to ride the E.T. ride, I guess, and Jaws ride, and while they were gone, someone came and like put mail on the counter or took the mail. And then they used to hide some money under the butter in the fridge. That's dumb, is it?
Well, sorry, I had to pour myself more Prosecco. Like, the butter we take out all the time.
Yeah,
so I feel like that money would be flying out all over the
money,
place.
you would always be exposing it, and it would be covered in butter. Like all slimy. And then you have to give it to the people at the Red Onion, and they're like, why is it all greasy, you perv? There's butter lube on this money, you sick perv.
Yeah.
So the money, some butter money was gone, but there was $100 of butter money and $60 was gone. And they said, that's like Carol. She wouldn't take all the butter money.
And they liked it. They were like, that has to for sure be Carol.
She would be courteous and not take all the butter money.
She would leave some for good old Mike or whatever.
And then some of her clothes would be gone.
His name Mike?
Yeah, gone from the
closet.
closet.
So it was Mike and Carol, the Brady Bunch. Oh.
And then Carol would call on special days like anniversaries and birthdays. And how she would call would be like, Carol's mom would answer and go, hello. And then it would be like this. And she'd go, Carol, is that you? Oh, Carol, you're calling on my birthday. All these years after you just disappeared and took off and didn't tell anyone and didn't take your children or say a word to anyone. You're courteous enough to call me on my birthday, hon. Thank you. Goodbye, Carol. I hope you're doing well. Well, the dog, he had surgery on his hips. And it went well, I'll tell you that. But we were not looking to spend $800. Your father was very upset.
Milt.
And you know I have the old back sciatica. Well, doctor... Oh, Carol, I guess I'll let you go. You don't seem very interested. Goodbye.
Okay, Carol?
What in the hell? They said Carol was calling for years, just breathing on the other end, but they knew it was her.
Yep.
What?
Because it was always on those special
What
days.
in the hell? What in the hell? I'm sorry. What kind of jenkum are you doing where you think that is your child,
The whole
your relative
family
that
was
left?
doing jenkum.
That is a hardcore rotten jenkum. Huff. That's
not
a
good.
bad huff.
That was early jenkum from the 80s.
Yeah. I do not understand how they fell for this for 30 years that Carol's calling.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Carol, I am so glad you called on our anniversary. Whoo! What in the hell can be going through your head?
I mean,
So the
just
family believes,
yeah.
I guess,
You want
have
it to
hope.
be true or something?
You do, but if Rachel, God forbid, like disappeared and I
Right.
started getting big pervert calls, I wouldn't. I would not. If I thought it was Rachel, I'd be like, "You fucking bitch! If this is Rachel and you're just breathing on the
better
phone, I swear to
fucking talk."
fucking God, if you don't talk, I'm gonna
Yeah.
find you and kill you myself." Like, tell me where you are. Like, this is not funny. It would be a sociopath doing
Yes.
that.
Yes.
It would not be your child who obviously, I mean, my God, I can't with that. I can't with any of it.
I know. It
That
was
blows
stupid.
my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So the family for like months and months and months and months after believed it was Carol calling on all these birthdays and anniversaries, just breathing heavy on the other line. Not some pervert jerking off and randomly just calling coincidentally on these days. And maybe it was some sort of sick call perv. Anyway, 3 months later, the detectives just write up a report and are like, yeah, Carol just fucking took off. She done runned off without her kids. No foul play involved. Case put aside for now. Kind of closed. So Mike Jr. all this time and his little sister are just like, why did mommy leave me and never say goodbye? Did she not love me? Am I not good enough? Like, have total complex his whole life. Why did my mom just leave and not take me or say goodbye? Or why isn't she coming home? Why isn't she? I mean, the children are devastated and confused. And he said he just would play records over and over and over that were her favorites. I mean, my God, how sad is that? And then over the whole episode, they just said the family just never talked about it. They didn't talk about it with the kids. The kids never got to process this trauma ever, just themselves. The family didn't talk about any of it. It just was like, she just ran off and we moved on. No, what? Come on. Meanwhile, right away, Mike starts dating a 19-year-old named Carrie.
This was wrong.
Yeah. And so years go by.
But when she was 15, he was 15
I'm
or 16
assuming,
too,
I hope,
right?
because he was in high school.
Because they had a picture of him in like a football.
Yeah, he was in high school with her, but he could have been a senior. I don't know.
But now she's 19?
Yeah, because he would have to be 25, 26, 19, I guess. I don't know. So we get to 19.
It was the 80s.
Yeah, they didn't care at all.
No. People were bringing like 30-year-olds to prom.
Yeah.
It's true.
In 1987, police, they revisit the case. They go talk to Mike. Mike's first story is they had an argument. Carol wants to sell their tiny house and just move into a bigger home for the family. Mike said, fuck you, no way. And they got into a fight, and Carol was mad and stormed out and drove her red Audi Fox away. And that's the last time Mike ever saw her. And that was about 10:30 p.m. So now in 1987, police go talk to Mike again and say, hey, we're just checking up again 6 years later. Did Carol come back? What's the deal? Mike says, you know what? I remember something else. In fact, she didn't drive off on that night. We actually went to bed together. I just forgot about that. Yeah, she didn't drive off that night. She actually got up at 5:30 a.m., went and took a big dump. I went back to sleep, and I woke up to her car engine starting a red Audi Fox to go to the Red Onion. And that was like at 7 or 6:30 a.m. And then I didn't ever see her again.
The Red Onion isn't even open.
Yeah, why would you go to the Red Onion when it wasn't open? You can't even drink
11.
then.
No.
And so the police are like, oh, okay. So your story is completely different.
Mm-hmm.
That's totally different than what you said. But they just write it down and put the file away, and it just goes colder.
Mm-hmm.
So meanwhile, Mike marries Carrie, and they have 2 more sons. Carol's sisters actually now get married and have children. Mm-hmm. And this is where Carol's sisters go, hey, I enjoy my children. I don't think I would run away and leave them.
And never talk
to them again.
My mom and dad or my kids or my sisters again.
Yeah, that seems real weird.
I sure does
think
now.
Carol would ever leave and not take her kids. Because now me as a mother, I think I would take my kids with me if I left. So I'm assuming Carol would do the same. Oh my gosh, something happened to Carol. She didn't just run off.
What?
Are you shitting me? Are you shitting me
So
right now,
dumb.
Terry and Gail?
They weren't.
So it was Terry who started thinking, gee whiz, I doubt Carol would leave her kids and and be out there in the world and never talk to them again, because she certainly loved them very, very much when she was with them.
Mm-hmm.
There was no sign that she didn't like her kids at all. She was totally attached to them, that she would be living and just breathe heavy to them on their birthdays. And Gail was totally on Mike's side still. Like, Mike is totally a normal person. And Carol, of course, just walked away. That seems normal.
Well, they just really liked him. They thought he was a decent guy. Milt left.
Yeah.
Milt kept working with him in
the whole time.
painting business, even though Carol was gone.
Carol just took off. They didn't even question it. So we get to 1996, 15 years later. Police are like, you know what? We're going to go to that backyard because something ain't right about Mike. They scan the whole backyard with like ground penetrating radar. Dig up some parts. There's not a body to be found.
Nope.
And they're like, 4 months later, a local newspaper interviews Mike about, this hubbub of the 15 years after, his wife takes off and he's, maybe a suspect. Mike says, my memory, I'm remembering something. On that morning, the garage door went up. I remember her going out of the garage now and hearing the garage door. And so they're like, well, you didn't say anything about a garage door before. You said you heard her car start, but then it was at 10 p.m., then it was at 6 p.m., and now she was in the garage, and the garage door went up. They're like, what? How are you remembering all these different details? But then it goes cold again until 2002. So 2002, this dick called Walt Delcine.
Which I kept saying Walt Disney.
Yes, Walt Disney.
I glanced
Walt
up and I was like, it's Walt Disney. No.
Yeah. Walt Disney Delcine is a detective, and for some reason, he's at his sergeant's desk, rummaging through it. And he even says he's trying to be nosy. He's rummaging through his cabinets. What's he looking for?
This guy was the biggest dick ever. He kept saying too, like, sometimes I didn't do what I was supposed to be doing, and I got in trouble for it.
Well, if you're going through your coworkers' cabinets looking for his Viagra or something, what is he looking? Going to take his lunch? His dietary lunch?
He's looking for like some, what do you call that, to hold over their heads? Like,
some weird something to
bribe them with. Yeah, some collateral.
I got your extreme what's the diarrhea? Imodium.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tease everyone about your massive diarrhea problem.
I see here you got some Valtrex in your desk drawers. Think you got them some genital warts.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell everybody.
Give me the day off.
Oh, so he's literally going through his cabinets of his coworker. Like, what the hell, Walt Disney Delcine? And he stumbles across Carol Lubahn's case, and it's over 20 years cold. And he's like, I've never heard of this. Can you just pull up a case file and look through it? Any police officer? Or do you, I mean, I don't know. I mean, is some things confidential? I don't know. What do I know? I mean,
maybe
anyone
not
can
when
pull
you work
anyone's
there.
file?
Probably.
I don't know.
If you have like a
Jesus.
clearance as a cop,
I guess.
I don't know.
So he looks the file over, and Mike's this whole thing. He's like, "This is fucked." Well, of course it is, Mike Delcine Disney. Thank you for at least right away going, the whole thing is fucked.
Right.
So he goes right away to Carol's parents and is like, this is all fucked, right? And Milt starts crying and says, I'm glad someone's still interested in looking for my daughter. And that made Walt be like, oh, okay, I'll put some effort into this.
Right.
And Milt unfortunately dies a month later, and he never gets to hear what happened to his daughter.
He doesn't.
Unfortunately.
But he died knowing that people were still trying to figure out what the fuck happened
and
to
cared
heavy
about
breathing
her.
Carol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terry, the sister, she is now really thinking, Mike, I think, knows something. So Mike goes to Milt's funeral, and the whole time she's staring at him thinking, you did something to Carol. You did something to Carol, but like, what are we going to do about it? Like, what?
She said she couldn't even talk to him.
Yeah. Because there's just still nothing there, but she just knows it's fucked.
But it was just her. Everybody else in the
Everyone
family,
else
it was like,
thinks,
Mike, you worked with Milt
weird.
forever.
Yeah.
And he bought the company. Like, they loved him. Yeah.
Oh my God. And Terry's kind of the only one, like, no one else sees this.
Yeah. But I think even she still was like, didn't want to think it. She just was thinking it.
Yeah.
Deep down, you know?
I know. So Walt Disney Delsum in 2010, so this is 8 years later.
Right.
Says, I've been keeping up on the case.
Time just keeps on passing. It's like 900 years.
You're taking your time, Walt. Time is a
1981.
factor here. These people are getting older.
They're dying.
They are dying. Pick up the pace.
Yeah.
My God. So then he thinks, I might go talk to Mike Lubahn. It took you 8 years to go talk to the husband? You could have done that the same day you talked to the parents. What's wrong? So he goes to talk to Mike about Carol, and it's recorded, but we don't get much of it.
No.
So Mike, they wanted to catch Mike off guard, but he was not really thrown off because he doesn't really give a fuck. Mike goes over the details, and I remember a little bit more. She came in, and she gave him, did she say papers or something? I don't know. But she said something. She said to me, you make my skin crawl.
Yeah.
Mike, you make my skin crawl.
And Walt Disney glommed onto that like a fly.
Right. He said,
shit.
He said, I believe that.
Yep.
And Mike wasn't looking too good at this point. He aged. I mean, he was a
like
5 out of 10.
I don't know. How old was he by this time? If he was 20 and 81, and now
in
it's
his 50s, he could have been I mean, George Clooney was not an old. He looked nice in his 50s. This guy's something.
This guy.
Well, he's holding an evil secret.
Yeah.
So Walt Disney is thinking, all right, you either saw her last at 10 p.m. or 5:30 a.m. And then now Mike says, oh, my memory again. Last time I saw her, it was 11:30 a.m. and she was in the tub. And they're like, what?
Not again, Mike.
And then it was just midnight or 1 or 2 or a.m. She drove away to the Red Onion.
After she was in the tub?
Yeah, and they're like, and Mike is like, what the hell are you talking about? And then Walt Disney says, so tell me more about putting the tape on the dressers. And Mike says, what the hell are you talking about? He said, you said you put tape on the dressers and it showed that she came back.
And then she was coming back and taking her underwear and taking some dresses.
Mike's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
He forgot.
And then Mike said, oh, I did do things like I put baby powder all by the doors, so if she'd walk, there'd be baby powder footprints. And Walt Disney's like, what the fuck?
They're like, you have been watching too much.
And then he said, just like James Bond.
Yeah,
I put paper on the outside door so if she'd come in. I think then the paper would fall out, but she would notice the paper falling out, right? Like if you put paper in the
Yeah, I didn't get
hinge.
that.
So Walt Disney is like, this guy, he's lying horribly. They bring him in for several more interviews and they just straight up say, you murdered Carol. But he says things like, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Or I didn't do that. I didn't do it. And he's saying like it and that, like there was a murder. He's not referring to he's not saying like she left or she left. He's kind of saying it and that, which they catch on to mean like a instance of a crime or that he committed a crime, because he's not saying she left. And he's talking about her in the past and saying, like, I didn't do it. I didn't do that.
Right.
But they still have no evidence. They don't have a body, and they can't even prove that Carol was dead. So we get this other detective called Jim Wallace, and he says, in January 2011, I got the hot shits real bad. I got the flu. I got the boiling piss shits.
And then Keith was like, this is good.
Yeah. And he says, then my wife had to take care of me because I'm a baby infant.
Keith from Dateline. We haven't even talked about
I know Keith hosted.
Keith from Dateline was the host. Yeah.
So Jim Wallace with the piss shits had his wife come in and take care of him. And she says, why don't you set up Facebook for Carol? And then people who knew Carol could comment on it and such. And Jim is like, well, holy shit, I'll do it. And so they put up a Facebook, like, have you seen Carol? They age Carol 30 years. Like, this is what she could look like. And every motherfucker says, I ain't ever seen Carol. I don't see Carol. And then they have a Carol website. And they said if she ever Googles herself, it will take her to this Carol website. She never did. And it says, Carol, if you're here at this website, call your family.
And actually talk
to them because we think you're dead. But she never did. And so they think she's dead. Now they realize they have the total circumstantial case, and they have nothing, no evidence really either, except just that Mike is weird and his story's changed a million times. Yeah. And that he was the last person to see her that night. But they decide it's been 30 years on April 13th, 2011.
That's not Bar and Raquel's birthday.
Yes, they arrest Mike. And so Carol's whole family is like, oh, no. Oh, no. Mike. They still believe that Carol's not really dead. Really?
They just didn't want it to be him because they still loved him as a family member for so long. For all of these years, for 40 or 30
I can get that, but then I think you'd have to know that Carol is passed.
Yeah, I mean, again,
I don't know.
I think they do,
but then that's shitting on Carol.
Yeah,
she didn't do anything wrong, and her memory's getting shit on all these years. Mike Jr., the son, but he even is like, my dad. He's like, I'd be lying if I said I never had a thought that my dad was somehow involved. Yeah. So he's like, I love my dad, but I'm thinking, he had something to do just because his stories are fucked. He had to go. I mean, this is so hard for a kid, a son, no matter what age you are. So All right. First of all, the prosecutor goes to Mike and says, we'll give you a deal, like voluntary manslaughter. Just tell us where the body is so that we can actually just finish this. And Mike says, no, So they go to trial. So Mike Jr. has
Didn't he like stop and think about it a couple times? So
this is where
he didn't.
He just said no right away.
Okay,
he said no right away, which is a dumbass move. So Mike Jr. has to testify. I mean, he said it was the hardest thing ever because he has to kind of talk about his doubts about his dad in front of his dad. Think how hard that would be. And he said he was sweating. And he just said his story is weird and it's stressing him out and his story doesn't sound right. And he just never wondered why his mom would just leave after the way she was before. She just wasn't a mom that would leave. It didn't make sense. So his testimony would, described how Carol was when she was alive. She was not a mom that was going to just leave.
Right.
Mike's attorney the defense has Mike testify because they're like, he is a nice guy and the jury should see that. Well, I mean, then he tells his story and he brings up the bathtub again. He brings up that she said, you make my skin crawl.
He did say that.
And then he brings up that the front door and the garage and this and that. And the story is changing even on the stand. And then he makes weird excuses. And then he's like, my memories.
Maybe I forgot.
And my memories, I don't know. And so then the prosecutor goes up and is just like, are you a lying fucker?
Have you ever lied?
And Mike is just like, I don't, no, yes, no, what? And then he pretty much just answers every question with, I don't know, I don't remember. And the prosecutor's like, you are a fucker, liar.
He's like, no, nothing further. Like, I can't even do this.
And just, this guy is a dirty fucker.
Yeah.
And he sits down. So the jury goes out and comes back guilty of second-degree murder.
Now, I have to tell you.
Yeah.
This was shocking.
I was too because there was no evidence.
Yeah,
it was just that he was a weirdo.
Absolutely no evidence.
He was a weirdo and his story changed and he was the last one to see her. That's all he had.
There was no blood. No. There was no bleach. There was no luminol. There was no
nothing.
Fucking body. There was no murder kit.
So creepy. The jury just found him creepy.
But even not that creepy. Like, I can't believe he got convicted. I
mean, there had to be more they didn't put in this Dateline. I
guess.
think. I don't know.
There's no way I would have sat in a jury and said that he was guilty.
Yeah. So Detective Wallace still says it doesn't really feel done because they don't know where Carol is.
Right.
And the whole family is surprised, like, oh no.
And no one. Yeah. Well, just like no one was cheering, like, yeah, we finally got it. It was just like.
It was horrible on all sides, which it always is.
This guy that they trusted, this guy that they loved did it. And it was so long ago by this time.
32 years. Yeah. It was.
And so they had kind of put that, somehow they had reconciled it, right? And it was just like, and there wasn't any evidence and they still didn't have a body and he still didn't confess. And they were just like, oh.
So I know.
Happened.
So they get to the 2012 sentencing. Mike Jr. is very emotional and he's kind of like, my dad did it, yes, but he was been a good dad. Can you kind of
I cried a little
spare?
bit.
Yeah, he was sad. Can you spare him a little bit? I don't know. Like what his son would say. Then,
but it wasn't like he was on his side.
No,
it was
he
just
knew.
like I know my dad did it.
Yeah,
but do I want him to get punished for it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, no, but at the same time, I just wanted to know what happened to her.
And he still really doesn't.
And he doesn't.
So the judge, though, moves sentencing back a month because we hear from the defendants that Mike wants to think about some things for a month.
Yep.
And so a month goes by. It's January 7th, 2013. And Mike has told the prosecutor some things. So we go into the sentencing and the prosecutor says, Mike has told me his 32-year secret, the fucker. And this is what it is. So what happened that night, according to Mike, is that Carol did want to sell their tiny house and move into a little bit bigger house for their family. They did have a fight. Carol stormed out, took her around 10:30, took her red car, but came back around 1:30 a.m. And then Carol goes and finds Mike, goes up to him and says, Mike, I'm going to go to my sister Terry's wedding with another man. And Mike says, I got very upset by that. And then she said to me, don't worry, you'll find someone else. And then she says...
And consoled him.
But then she said, you make my skin crawl. So then he said, I pushed her and she just fell over and conked her head on the corner of the table. And I knew right away she was dead. First of all, no, that doesn't happen. It was an instant death. And so the prosecutor was like, that is a fucking lie. And they hooked him up to a polygraph and he didn't pass. So then he says, okay. The first part is true, but I actually just punched her a lot in the head. And so he did kill her by like blunt force beating her.
Right.
Then he put her in the garage behind some carpet. Like, did they ever check there? Because she would have bled there.
But she wasn't bleeding. He said she never bled, and they never, ever found any blood.
But did they? We never know. We never hear anything about them testing anything in the house. Like the garage or luminol or anything. They never said that in the whole story.
Yeah, I guess.
They must not have.
Is there other shows about this?
I don't know.
We need to find out.
So she's behind this dirty old carpet, stink piss carpet in the garage. And then he takes her car, brings it to the Red Onion, comes back, puts Carol in his trunk, somehow gets a raft. Like, what is he, Gilligan? How is he getting this raft? And how is he putting a dead body into a raft at the ocean? Where do you do this with no one seeing you?
I don't know.
In California, like a busy area with a cinder block. A body tied to a cinder block and no one sees.
In a blow-up raft?
Janky raft? What is he doing? Is he dressed as a pirate and saying, nothing to see here, folks. It's a show? I mean, my God. So he dumps her. He says he dumped her body at sea with a cinder block. This too sounds weird.
Bizarre.
And so the family was like, "Oh no, Mike, we really wished you hadn't done it." So they're obviously shocked and horrified.
Mm-hmm.
So then the police are like, "Well, you know what we're gonna do?" They take him that day and go, like at the beginning of the show, go out on the boat in an ocean and look for the cinder block. 32 years later, is everyone in this story insane?
That was the dumbest.
You think there's gonna be? I mean, you think he's going to remember where he just dumped her and the cinder block would be there?
After
the whole
32
ocean?
years and you'd find some like bones still stuck there?
No, my God. So Mike Jr. at
surprised they came up empty-handed.
Well, of course not. Everyone is on Jenkum in this whole episode. Mike Jr., though, is happy his mom didn't abandon him. Like, he wasn't abandoned. She loved him.
Yeah, but then after they were at sea, didn't they do another test?
No, I don't think so.
Polygraph test? And he was like, just joking.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, no, she wasn't. He said that was a lie, too.
Jesus.
Yes.
I missed that then.
So he took everyone out on a boat.
Well, he got a boat ride out of it.
Yes. And they were all sitting there. And then he was like, actually, just kidding. And then he led them to a spot in the woods.
I missed all that.
But they never found her there either. But he was like, just joking. So they did another. Yeah. So then at this point, I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? I literally thought.
He has a problem with his brain.
Yeah. I literally thought like this was a complete accident. And not that it was okay, right? But like he went on, he raised his kids. It's fucking 30 years. This was like a horrendous. He didn't do it to anyone else. He wasn't like a spousal abuser or whatever, right? Like, but then he was fucking doing all this weird shit.
Yeah,
lying
he just was
and
weird.
Saying, go out in the ocean.
Yeah,
like,
he just was weird.
No,
but and so then Mike Jr. He's in jail. He's in there for like 10 years and Mike Jr.'s writing him back and forth. And then he's like, I'm going to try to have his conviction reduced from murder to voluntary manslaughter. He could have had that plea at the beginning. And he said, no.
Yeah.
What the hell? So then he gets a hearing after 10 years in jail. And in 2021, it is reduced from murder to voluntary manslaughter. And they say, now you get 6 years for voluntary manslaughter. Oh, but you served 10. You're free. And so he's out.
Yeah. He got out.
So he's free for murdering.
But that happened because the lawyer was like, actually, I think he didn't actually have premeditated murder. It was just like in the heat of the moment.
It could have been, but still, I mean, I know.
So
but
even
still,
the lawyer who went
murder
after
someone
him,
and don't say where the body is, and
I know.
you bury her somewhere in the world.
He literally must be the nicest guy ever that all these people just want him to.
Or he's just very simple or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because
that is so
even the lawyer,
odd.
whatever.
I can't
the
get over
Lewin
it.
guy. What was this? I don't know. Something
Yeah,
Lewin.
the prosecutor.
Yeah, the prosecutor was literally like after him in the courtroom and was like, "Whatever, you just fucking lie all the time. Like, I'm done with you." He was the one who went and petitioned and said,
I know.
I think it actually wasn't murder. It just was manslaughter.
Well, I think it was like the argument, and he was. It wasn't. I mean, when your wife does take another man to this wedding,
it's not.
You make my skin crawl. I bet he did lose his mind if he's this kind of weird,
right?
But then he did. Where is she? You think that something like that would stick in your mind when you hide a dead body,
right? Because the fact that she said "you make my skin crawl" did stick in his mind.
Yeah.
So, and his son said he first started to have like an inkling that maybe his dad had something to do with it when his 19-year-old wife.
Yes.
They ended up getting divorced too, and the son said he just kept talking about her all the time. Like 10 years, 15 years after she had left him, Mike was still talking about his ex-wife. And the son said he never talked about my mom.
Never once.
And he was like, that just didn't sit right with me.
Yeah. Because Mike Jr. has a brain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, what a weird story. Unfortunate for everybody.
Crazy story.
And Carol. She was so young.
Carol, and just a beauty. And
she was. Oh.
No one knows where she is.
No. I feel like, come on.
I feel like Mike should say no.
Well, I think he should. It should have been like, you can get out now, but tell us where she is.
Yeah.
Because your son would like to know.
Yeah.
And you already did time for it, bitch.
Because that is what the son said. I just want to know. I want to bury her or cremate her. Yeah. I just want to know.
Good God. Maybe he'll find out someday. I don't know.
Hey, thanks for listening, everyone. We do have a book club as well with our robust Facebook group. It's Always the Husband podcast group. If you're interested, this month we're reading The Space Between Them by Lindsay Campbell, and we will be meeting via Zoom on May 27th. And join us. We have members from New York State, Minnesota, Arkansas, California, Canada. From Vancouver, Canada. We are all over the place.
Sometimes Wisconsin.
Colorado, Wisconsin. Come join us. It's always a good time. And so that's it.
Did you read the book?
Not yet.
I did.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was weird. Well, yes. Like the first... It was, I don't know. It's hard to describe my feelings right now.
Okay. I'm going to get it on my Kindle. I am in the middle of a different book that I have to finish first, but then I'll read it. I'll read it this weekend. Okay.
It's short. It's shorter.
Yeah. Okay, great. So thanks for listening. Please share us, like us, rate us, review us. Let other people know all about us. Thank you for listening.
All right.
Bye.